After teaching the neutral and ready position, we always want to move on to braking. Braking is used by riders to control speed or come to a stop without skidding. Obviously, braking is required to bring the bike to a stop. Braking is also used to control speed. We use the brakes while descending to ensure we do not begin to go too fast. Proper brake lever setup and position should have been checked previously during a bike safety check. Be aware that proper brake lever position can have a dramatic effect on braking performance.
The teaching points for braking are as follows. Pull both brake levers to apply the brakes evenly. While doing so, drop the heel of your forward foot and create a bracing leg. While the teaching points are short and concise, we may need to explain further at times.
When we're using our brakes, we're using both brakes. So we're not just using the rear brake, we're using both of our brakes. And then the other thing that you may not have heard before is that when we're using our brakes, when we're riding, we drop the heel of our forward foot and we push through our feet. That's so that we can stay balanced on the bike. If I just grab my brakes and try to slow down, I end up getting really heavy on the front of the bike. But if I drop the heel and push through my feet, that'll help me to stay balanced on the bike. So that's really important. So pull both brake levers evenly and drop the heel of your forward foot to brace yourself. And I'll show you what that looks like.
For your moving demonstration, come to a stop within the cones in front of the student athletes. Consider performing the demo twice. Start by stopping and putting a foot down on the ground. Then repeat the demo and come to a stop without putting a foot down before riding away. After pausing to answer any questions, have student athletes practice by first asking them to ride towards the runway and come to a complete stop anywhere within the cones. Then continue by asking them to stop at a specific point. Ask riders to stop immediately in front of you as you stand next to the runway of cones.
Ask riders to shift 2 gears harder. This often results in higher speeds, which will add difficulty as they continue to try to stop at a specific point. Alternatively, use a small descent as they will be forced to overcome gravity. Progression 4 is to add consequence, or in this case, fun. Create a wall of cones at the far end of your runway. Ask riders to repeat their practice and attempt to stop as close to the cones as possible. Pause without putting a foot down and ride away to one side. This is a great progression as it highlights speed control, confidence, and a balanced ready position. A rider that brakes early and comes to a slow stop is not confident. A rider that continues to roll without coming to a full stop is not balanced on their feet. Now let's review some common errors and the appropriate feedback. The first common error is the rider having difficulty applying the brakes or stopping. Ensure brakes are positioned correctly for the rider's hands and working properly. Another common error is when the rider does not come to a stop but instead rolls through the runway slowly. This may happen because they do not feel comfortable standing on the pedals and stopping. Simply allow this rider to practice more. Another very common error is when the rider moves forward while braking or gets heavy on their hands. To resolve this, the rider should start pulling the brakes a little earlier and more gradually. Alternatively, more heel drop to brace better. Another error seen often is skidding the rear tire. To lessen this, the rider should use less rear brake and more gradual increase of the front brake. Alternatively, more heel drop to push the back of the bike towards the ground and add traction. The last common error is when the rider is forced to put a foot down before stopping. To resolve this, the rider needs to remain balanced on both feet as they are slowing and not move their hips too far back. Now let's review some games we can play with student athletes. A great game for braking is the cardboard slide. In an open area, put a square of cardboard on the ground, approximately 2 foot by 2 foot, or a pizza box. Riders approach and attempt to lock their rear brake as the rear tire rolls over the cardboard. Then continue steering as they slide forward on the cardboard. Please ensure riders know which brake lever actuates the rear brake. There are also a few common variations of the cardboard slide. Designate a start point close to the cardboard to reduce the rider's speed. Use a slight downhill area to allow riders to slide further. The cardboard slide can also be done in a relay format. Let's review some bonus tips. We want to highlight that the tire should continue to roll while braking. A skidding tire is a tire that's out of control. Here's bonus tip 2. Those that master braking can ride faster. Riders with good braking skills know that they can slow down or stop quickly whenever required. This allows them to ride faster with confidence. And let's review one last bonus tip. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Using the brakes to reduce speed lessens the consequence of failure and creates confidence. This allows the rider to focus on good smooth technique instead of the fear of failure. As the rider finds smooth success at slower speeds, they can add speed later. Therefore, again, slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
I hope you found this video on braking to be helpful. We'll continue next with bike and body separation. See you there.